Thanks for tuning in to another segment of Incarceration To Incorporation. I'm AB, the founder and the CEO. Incarceration To Incorporation is a show that we do each and every Friday from 6 to 7, and we bring on individuals to talk about their experiences dealing with incarceration and dealing with getting back out in society, dealing with issues as far as anything that does with business or does with family relationships or anything that they deal with. We get them the help that they need, the resources that they need, and we let them come on the show and talk about their transition back into society. Like usual, I got my co-host Julius Hall. He with me today, like I said, like usual. We're gonna talk about what it is that got to do with recidivism, what it is that got to do with incarceration, the pathway to incarceration, what it got to do with. We're gonna talk about everything that we can discuss or think about that has to do with incarceration and recidivism and the big issue of what they're doing with the big business in the incarceration field, corporate and all of that. So we got a host, Julius Campbell. He's the one he's gonna talk about his experience in being incarcerated. We're gonna talk about his experience with recidivism, and we're gonna let him steal the show. And hopefully everybody can get some good information from him. But Julius Hall, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, America?
Hey,
We here again, trying to get it out to you, trying to get all the information out to you that you need. We want to make sure that from all of our shows, we give relevant information. That's what this show and this platform is about. This platform is about informing the community. That's what we're here for. That's what we're going to do. Some people might not like it, but hey, it's social media is the news now, and this is the way that we're giving it out because we can't trust anybody else to give the information out like we would. So we welcome you all to watch us 7 days a week on this platform and on YouTube at ATR Black Media Network. Here on Facebook at All Things Relevant Media. We ask you to share, invite your friends, tell somebody about it. We're here 7 days a week. We got a show every single day. Some days we got 3 or 4 shows. So in the next 30 days, we'll have 20 shows for the week. So y'all just get ready. We got all kind of great things coming at you. Shows that for everybody. Shows for everybody. So y'all just stay tuned. Tonight's guest, we got Mr. Julius Campbell, and he'll be talking a lot about recidivism. And we know that that's a deadly thing in our community, and we need to get rid of it. We need to see how we can help these kids. And this is why AB started what he started with Incarceration to Incorporation, because he saw that there was a need for us to help people to get out and make themselves better instead of getting out and going back in. So, Mr. Campbell, we appreciate that you have this platform. You are hooked up with a bunch of other brothers out of Atlanta. AB, he's a good friend. His friend is a good friend of a group that does what he does here in Atlanta with Geo.
With Geo, okay.
Yeah, Geo is in a group there. So George Oliver, he's in Atlanta. They're doing a whole bunch of things, and we're all gonna start networking so we can all be on the same thing. They have a show in Atlanta at the exact same time. That's why the other brother couldn't get on with us tonight. And so he introduced me to Mr. Campbell, and Mr. Campbell is showed me his TED Talk, and I said, "Oh, we got to have this brother on."
Well, most definitely. I watched the video, man. It's a wonderful video, and that's why we're glad to have you on the show, so you can tell the people that's viewing in what that show is all about. And like I said earlier, man, hopefully they can get the resources that they need to help them with the recidivism and all of that. So, hey, welcome aboard, Julius Campbell.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Let everybody know who you are, why you started doing what you're doing, and give us a little background, like I said, of who you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Julius Campbell, as you've already stated, and I'm living here in Savannah, Georgia. I just did a 26-year stint in the Georgia prison system. I had a life sentence, but by the grace of God, I'm home and I'm able to share my story, and not just my story. I'm also able to talk to young men and women in hopes of learning from my story. Since I've been home, I've had an opportunity to partner up with a lot of different organizations, mentoring, returning citizens, Reentry United, Credible Messengers, OAA Savannah, Savannah. There are just so many organizations that I've had to be a part of. And what we're trying to do is bring all these hands together, if you will, so that we miss none. If you've seen the TED Talk, Recidivism, that is the analogy that I use. Holding hands, we're able to make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. And that's my desire while I'm here in Savannah, to make sure that I connect the dots of resources, if you will. So I appreciate this opportunity that you've given to me to just be able to share my story, but also to educate and encourage other returning citizens.
Okay, you kind of like freezing up for some reason. It was perfect before we started, and all of a sudden it's freezing up. I don't know why. And you're going in slow motion almost. But
hopefully everybody was able to get a chance to hear what was going on, what he was saying.
Oh yeah, the sound and everything was great. He's just a freezing up. I guess because when we was having those, he had those two devices on. But okay, we are unable to play the video because of we got to get a different package with YouTube in order to download YouTube videos. He did a TED Talk on YouTube, and it was a great TED Talk presentation telling the reasons for recidivism. And Mr. Campbell, if you would, you could just talk about some of those things that are factors for the high rate of recidivism. I know one thing that you said was in state prisons, it was every 2/3 of every prisoner released went back into the system because they went back into the system within 2 years. That's not the case in the feds. The feds is a little bit lower, real lower than that. You don't see as many federal prisoners go in, but on the state level, you see them. It's a reoccurring thing, which is recidivism. So if you could expound on that for a minute.
And I will. Before I get ready to talk, let me know if you hear me clearly.
It's a delay,
Yes?
but it's
Good.
clear.
Okay. Well, first of all, we need to understand what recidivism means. Recidivism is the tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend. That just means that when he or she comes home, for whatever reason, they wind up going back to prison. And we've been trying to do, we as people, period, is curb or stop recidivism. And so that's one of the reasons why I did TED Talk, to let people know that we, not more prisons, not more programs, but people are the solutions for ending recidivism. And so as I did this TED Talk, I began to do a little research on recidivism. Why do people come back to prison? Well, as you can see in TED Talk, I list at least 3 specific reasons. One was mental health issues. 2 was substance abuse issues. 3, be not able to find gainful employment or not able to have support from family or faith organizations. So if we can tackle each of those areas, then I believe that we will stop or put an end to nonsense recidivism. So what do I mean when I say that? I did 26 years in prison. While I was there, I talked to men who got out and came back over and over. And I asked them that hard question: why? Why did you come back to a place that you did not enjoy? Matter of fact, that you hated every time you were here? And most of them answered with the same response: because I did not have any help. Now, this is not to say that we are victims, because there are men and women who get out and are successful, but our reality isn't the reality of other men and women. I had those 4 key components: family support, gainful employment, community support. I had all of those things, but because I had them, my transition was smooth. Others are not. And that's why I believe that what you guys are doing right now, giving me and others the opportunity to talk about this, what we're doing is educating people, faith-based organizations, charitable-based organizations, corrections, all people. And if we all come together, then we can definitely make a change.
And that's exactly right. What you saying is that it all starts the mind frame. We always talk every week about the mind frame. It's the mind frame of the individual. You know what I'm saying? He might not have the support that he need out here in the streets, whether it be with family or friends or whatever, but it's still about his mentality of change. He got to want to change. He or she got to want to change in order to stay out of the prison system. I mean, the system ain't built. I don't
Now
think
that
it's
is true.
just for us. You know what I mean? It's just we the
Right.
ones.
And that
Go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
what you're saying is what you're saying is definitely true. However, there are still some areas where women need help. For example, let me assist you. When I came home, I was in the transitional center. The trans C for short was a fit and blessing, and in other men and women case. Why? Because number one, they help prepare you with a job. Number two, they help you with transportation. Number three, they help you with networking. But when you come home and you don't have transportation, you don't have networking, you don't have employment, it's difficult for you to start over with a smooth transition. And
Right.
so even if I had a sign, even if I had a strong fortitude for wanting to stay out, there are some issues that will impede that desire. And then not only that, you have the lack of communication with the Department of Community Supervision, probations and parole, if you will. If that is not a better communicating system, then that is also a reason why a lot of men and women are returning. So again, we need to speak today of what we, the people, can do to ensure that we stop the recidivism.
Right.
Okay, because it is a school to prison pipeline, and we need to make sure that we can cut that off also by doing the things that we're doing, by the programs like your program, the what AB and has, and what we have on this platform. If we can warn these kids when at an early age, if we can mentor them, then we can get some things done and save some of these kids from going into that school to prison pipeline. And then, once they in the system, we want to make sure there is no recidivism. We want to make sure that they don't have a chance to be a repeat offender by not letting them go in the system, period.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right. I've been
Exactly.
watching the
And
news.
I love
I've
what you
been
said. You use
I've been watching the news and listening to a lot of the things that they doing now. When it comes to like the prison system, the private owned prison systems and stuff, they coming down. A lot of people are talking bad about it. A lot of people don't want to deal with those issues anymore. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, all of those things gonna fall down. And then, like I said a few minutes ago, it's gonna be up to the individual mentality to go with this change to stay out of prison. There's still gonna be jails. It's still gonna be corporate entities that want to lock a person up, but it's going to be on the individual. But I think a lot of change is about to come when it comes to the prison systems, when it comes to those corporate entities that own those private labels and stuff. I feel like it's a change coming, according to what I've read and what I've been listening to over the radio stations, and just looking at news media and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a change.
Well, those changes are not going to take place without people because policy is good on paper. And let me say
True.
that again. Policy is good on paper, but until people start interjecting or getting involved, then it's not going to change. I for the last 2 years, I have been searching for reentry organizations here in Savannah. 2 years. And what I found is that after Governor Deal left, then the finances and funding for reentry began to dry up. So the mindset of reentry changed. Now you're expecting men and women to come home and just do it. Well, we're in the midst of a COVID pandemic, number one. Number two, jobs are already scarce. Number three, I don't have a ride to Dean Forest Road or to Pula so I can get a job. Number four, my education isn't up to par. Number five, I've been gone for 10, 15, or 20 years. And so therefore my confidence level is not built. So all of these things sound as changing on paper, but it's not until we actually begin to be intentional about reentry, then we're going to continue to have this perpetual cycle. For example, let me give you some more hard data. Do you know that the fastest growing homeless population is now returning citizens? And for those who do not know the term returning citizen, well, returning citizen is someone who has gone to prison and come back home. That's what we call, that's not a convict or a criminal. We are now returning citizen because we don't want to be relegated to second-class citizenship. So when I say that that is the fastest growing population, why is that the case? Myself, I had a gainful employment, good job. I had money in the bank. When I went to go and try to find a place to stay, I was denied 4 times, not 1 or 2 or 3, 4 times. Why was I denied? Not because I didn't have any money, not because I didn't have a bank account, not because I didn't have a consistent, stable job, not even because I didn't have references, but because I had to go through a background check. So that's why 4 times I was denied housing. Not just housing, employment. Because of a background check, I'm now denied many jobs. So most returning citizens, they get these low entry level jobs, but they're not able to get, by and large, these gainful employment jobs. And so, again, I love what you're saying, that it is up to the individual, but the reality of the thing is, no, it is up to us as a people.
As a people.
Yeah. Jackson John says that's not good. That makes a person want to go back to doing what he did to get in there in the first place. And that's exactly right, Mr. John. Because if you don't have any hope and you feel hopeless and there's nothing that is out there to help you, no, like he said, you need family support, you need housing support, you need community support, you need employment support. Those things are what is the foundation for success. And then when you have that person that can help you say, hey, I'm gonna start a business, you got that financial support and that family support, then you can start your own business and be your own boss, because evidently you do know how to hustle because you got in prison. Unless they caught you on your first time, you know how to hustle. So so you just got to have that support. And anything that we can do as far as resources, literature, if we can point a person in the right way, somebody might get your CDLs and all that, drive Uber, all kind of stuff that you can do to make it so you won't have to go back in there and eat that quarter soup. That what they call that neutral loaf, or whatever they call it in the state prison.
Oodle noodles. That's what it is. Oodle noodles.
Yeah.
Oodle noodles. Oh, and let me, if I may speak just briefly right here, AB. We need to change the perception or the perspective of people, the community, society of returning citizens, because society's perception of men and women coming home is that they think they're victims, or they don't want to do right, or they're not going to do right. But that is not the case. In honesty, the people who are coming home really, hold on one second. The people who are coming home really want to do good. There's a phrase that I heard said this way: we may have began wrong, but we can finish strong. We may have began wrong, but we can finish strong. And so why did I say that? It's because I know countless men and women who are coming home and they want to do good. The problem is there are so many hurdles that are hindering them from doing good. No, AB, I'm not saying that that is an excuse to make me go back to my old ways. I'm just simply saying that that is a hurdle that can push me in the wrong direction. And
Oh,
so,
I'm
go ahead.
with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you. I was shaking my head because that right there, it just started reminding. I'm gonna tell you a story right quick.
Okay.
I was in the halfway house, and it was a guy that used to come to the halfway house. He had a construction company, and he used to take brothers out and work with them. And one day he reached out to me and said that actually he heard my name being called, and he came up to me and asked me. Um, Actually, he told me who his brother was, and his brother had also been incarcerated. But him working that construction job, I later found out that he was also working with federal agents.
Mm.
What he was doing is he was lining them boys up with a job, but he was also giving them a job selling drugs again.
Wow.
They was basically what he was doing was setting the brothers up to go right back, get another charge, a fresh charge, and right back in the system. Now he stepped to me. He came and met with me. I'm thinking he's talking. This is when I got out of the halfway house. He came to my house. We had meetings and stuff, and we was talking about going into business and the trucking business and all of that. And he approached me with putting another package in my hand. So, I was shaking my head because I understand that it is the system, but it's think about if I would have took that opportunity to put another package in my hand, coming from a person that I met his brother when I was incarcerated. I know who his brother is, but I didn't know at the time that he was working with the feds. So I came home with the mentality that I ain't putting no more packages in my hand. I don't care, regardless of who it is that's offering. I met this brother, didn't know him, but I knew his brother. So I know guys, I know 6 guys that took that route and went right back into the prison system. So
Mm.
yeah, I was shaking my head because that just reminded me of a story to tell, man. Just think if I would have took that opportunity to put that package back in my hand, I would. Who's to know? Who's to tell where I would be? Because I came home I did a 10-year bid in the feds, and came home with 5-year probation. And while I was on probation, I had that he approached me. So just to think, man, if I would have took that opportunity to put another package in my hand,
Right.
where would I be today? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be
yeah.
where you are right now.
It's an individual choice. I know brothers that took that choice and put that package back in their hand though.
Right.
And
Somebody
they still
never
and they
said,
still in prison right now. And this happened in 2011.
and see, that's that recidivism right there that he's talking about. Black Empowerment Movement Association says, keep your heads up, black man. Proud of you guys. Our people did, our people did all this powerful, I guess must he meant to say need all this powerful information.
No,
Another one
just
here,
say
we got the prison system is a business and the incarcerated. People are the product. So if you keep getting out of prison, they need to bring you back because you part of their income, you part of the business.
Right.
wow.
And
Now that
Robert
is so
says,
true.
yeah, Robert says, I did 13 years and had no support when I got out. A friend gave me $2,500 and that was all the help I needed. Everyone isn't that lucky.
True.
You
Like
know,
what Robert said, his reality or my reality is not everybody's reality. And if I may, let me tell you why. Let's step back for a moment. Why did I do the TED Talk? Let me explain why. And shouts out to Dan Inger and many of those that had my back, Bob Dimmitt, Paul Bowman, and my family, those who helped me to do what I did. The reason why I did the TED Talk is because that was a platform. I was blessed to have that platform to speak. No, not to speak, to scream, if you will. I love adjectives. To scream to people, the people versus recidivism. I wanted to educate the community, especially the faith-based community. I, I want to be redundant there. I wanted to educate the faith-based community because I believe that it is our job as the church, not just the building, let me qualify, not just the building, but the body. It is our job to reach out to those men and women who are in need of assistance. And so if I had a platform to speak to that pastor or that preacher or that bishop or that layman, then maybe they would speak to their congregation. And what that would start is a dialogue. And that's what this TED Talk, the impetus behind it was to create dialogue. And when that dialogue is created, oftentimes we come out with a solution and not just complain. And so that was something that I was trying to do. And I want to be frank with you. Do you know that that has been difficult to start a dialogue with a lot of faith-based organizations? Now, don't get me wrong. I've talked to many organizations, charitable-based organizations, stores, business leaders. I've talked to many of them,
They're not
but it is
necessarily
difficult.
faith-based. It's a difference. It's
Yes, because trying to get, where is most African Americans in the church?
in church.
Family members in the church. Do you not know that the majority of the congregation of African Americans is returning citizens, or they are the family members or relative of somebody that's incarcerated? So if that is the case, don't you think that we ought to be the most influenced or educated on this issue? But that is not the case. And so I'm grateful for you, man, again, giving me a platform to dialogue. And maybe from this dialogue, doors would open for men and women to communicate this plight of prisoners and men and women that are coming home, how we can help.
How we can help. And that's exactly why I started Incarceration To Incorporation. Exactly what you just said, to give the people a visual and dialogue, to have this dialogue session to, hopefully a lot of people join on and to tune in. So it'll give them an insight of what it is that they can do to tell a family member. Like you said, a lot of family members that's in the church system, a lot of family members, have somebody that's incarcerated or being incarcerated and is home now struggling to transition back into society. So yeah, it's a good thing. That what you're doing, and we're definitely, man, gonna link up on some other things, man, so we can put this thing not just out there where you at in Georgia, but I'm in North Carolina. So what we doing out here, I'm putting together a team out here so we can basically do exactly the same thing you doing, and hopefully I can bring on somebody, and we can get on the TED Talk. I might want to go on the TED Talk. You know what I'm saying? So I seen a few of the videos that's on TED Talk. So it might be right up my alley, Julius.
I got one I want you to see. I'm gonna send it to you, AB. A good friend of mine did it. It's a powerful one. It's a female. I'm gonna send it to you. Mahogany Bowers did. I'm gonna send that one to you. Let you watch that one. It's a powerful. Her brother went to prison, and he's just getting home now. But I want you to see that. It's a powerful one. We got
Now,
a question from
I got a question.
Jackson John. What has happened is a lot of people that have gone into prison system have learned great skills, and those skills can be used out here in the world. And that's why they're trying to get you back, because they've given you supervisory skills and they need their supervisors back.
Hey, Jackson sounds like he know a lot about what's going on in there. And matter of fact, let me share, because we've already talked about, I believe, clearly that there is a problem with recidivism. We've also talked about clearly that there is something that people can do. Well, now let's talk about what those people can do. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
perfect.
Who you?
Okay, so let me start where I am, and then I will move to where we can be. All right, since I've been home, what I've been doing is, as I stated before, I looked for reentry organizations when I came home. And the numbers that I called, they were disconnected or no longer in service or no longer funded. That's not good, especially when a lot of men and women are coming home and are in need of that help. So I met with a team of men and women out of Alabama, Offenders Alumni Association. A young lady by the name of Deborah Daniels, along with Dina Dickerson and Lisa Gus and those out in Atlanta. But I'm talking specifically about those in Alabama. What she did was she saw the need. She did time in prison. And so she wanted to bring together, if you will, collectively people that can help people, be it those that are returning from prison or those family members that are helping those that are returning from prison. And then it spread to Atlanta. And then when I came home, I recognized that there was nothing here in Savannah. And so I started as a site director, OAA Savannah, Offender Alumni Association Savannah. And what we do, myself and two other team members, Marie Jones and also Darnell Houston, they have been helping me tremendously. What we've started is on Wednesday nights, we meet tangibly to try to encourage, educate, and empower returning citizens and also their family. Encourage. When you recognize that you're not the only one going through what you're going through, that encourages you. Because if I know that Julius made it or AB made it, then I know that I can make it also. So we hear each other's story, and that encourages us. Number two, we educate. Twofold. How do we educate? Well, we educate the community and organizations to let them know that, look, there are men and women that are returning and they need your assistance, your resources. But we also educate ourselves with life skills, meaning conflict resolution skills, character development skills, effective communication, because you want to sell yourself in order to get a job. So we're trying to educate. And then thirdly, empower. When we bring those organizations together, be it charitable based or faith based, and they're telling us their story and how they relate to incarceration, number one. And then number two, the resources that they are going to give to those of us that are coming home, then that empowers me. When I know that I got access to healthcare, or when I know that I got access to gainful employment, then that helps me to feel confident that I can make it. So that's what we do here in OAA Savannah, and that's what they do in OAA Atlanta and Alabama. But we also have some other things that are going on. I'm partnered with a young man in Washington, D.C. His name is Dr. Ronald Garrett, and we have a 501c3 organization called, it's a nonprofit, Reentry United. And what Reentry United is, we are trying to bring all, and I emphasize all, reentry organizations up under the same umbrella so that we miss none. Remember the story that I told you about in my TED Talk. If we all join hands, then we won't lose any. Well, what Reentry United does is you don't lose your identity. You don't lose your independence. But what you do is you gain notoriety or networking. And so when we all come up under that umbrella, when a chaplain calls and say, listen, I know a man that's coming home to Atlanta, Savannah, DC, or wherever, then we can get on that Reentry United database, find out what's going on in that area, and that person won't fall through the cracks. But right now, what you have is you have an organization here on the west side, an organization here on the south side, and those organizations don't know each other, and so men are falling through the cracks, women are falling through the cracks. It is almost, and I almost shudder to say this, it's like the analogy of the church. You got a church on every corner, but nobody knows each other, and so we are not effective as we could be. And so Reentry United is getting ready to have its first virtual conference where all these reentry teams are coming together to introduce themselves to each other. And I will, AB and also Julius, I will text you the information so that you can get that out to your listeners, especially the organizations and the reentry buildings and society. You can get that out, and we would love to have all of us come together to see exactly what we got going on. So that's OAA Savannah right here. You got Reentry United, and also for those who are returning citizens. I don't know if you remember when you went through, there was an organization in prison called Kairos, and they used to have a 4-day retreat. You remember that?
Say that again, that name again?
It's called Kairos, Kairos.
I think I remember that. I remember that.
Well, it's in the federal system
Yeah.
and it's in the state system. And if for 4 days, that ministry came to the prison and changed many men and women's lives. And well, what we're doing, those of us that have gotten out, we miss that camaraderie. We miss that relationship. So on April the 10th, we're going to have here in Georgia, we're going to have a returning citizens reunion where we can get to know each other, tell our stories, see how you've succeeded, and now you can help me to succeed. So there are a lot of things going on, but the people just have to plug themselves into what's going on. And I guarantee you, if that takes place and we hold hands, we will change recidivism.
Jackson John is kind of on it tonight. He said one thing we could possibly do is contact Julius Hall, contact me, and see about setting up a 5013C to help the people coming out of prison to find some footing. Well, that would be great. It would have to be a 5013C, so that and that's what the brother is talking about, getting all these organizations under one umbrella, finding the funding to support all these organizations so that they can help the reentry programs all across the country. Because it's a known fact. It's one thing that you say in that video. It's $30,000 per year to house one person. So if you take that $30,000 for that year and educate them, or if you take that $30,000 for that 1 year and you find a way for them to go into business or anything that's helps them re-enter society as a productive citizen, that's a win for everybody.
Imagine if we had just 10% of that 30,000, which is $3,000. If we had $3,000 a month to be able to get bus passes for men and women who can't afford a car to get to work, if we had that $3,000 to buy a bicycle, or a few bicycles for men and women who can ride bicycle to work, if we had, and incidentally for Mr. Jackson at OAA Savannah, what we do on Wednesdays, every other Wednesdays, what we do is we help you to find jobs. We help you to get funding for different things. We had some organizations that come in to tell us if you had a man or a woman that was in need of furniture, let us know. If you had a man or woman that was in need of an outfit to wear to a job interview, just let us know. So what I want Mr. Hall and also AB to do is, if you will, just get the word out to some men and women. I don't care if you was incarcerated 20 years ago or 20 days ago. If it's difficult for you and your transition wasn't smooth, well, what we would try to do is help you to connect those dots. That's what I try to do. I'm a connector of dots, if you will, bringing these resources together. So you'll have my information, my email, and also my telephone number if you need to reach out to me to try to help you to not only just get monetary things, but also some men and women are struggling mentally when they come home.
Right.
And there are organizations that will help you as it relates to emotional instability, counseling, things of that sort.
Jackson John is on it again. I got to cover your face 1 second because this one here is so long. We try to tell people to keep it to a couple of sentences, but he said some of the things that those coming home can do is start a simple grass cutting company, or floor cleaning company, a cleaning service company. If you have construction skills, construction basics, help company, you don't need to be certified to be a handyman service. I'm going to do that kind of stuff. I was talking about that 501(c) that we can set up can start connecting those dots here locally to help those coming home get educated on how to start a business and the process to go through. Yeah, that's right, Mr. John Jackson. John, if we can get those type of services with Mr. Campbell here. It's like I was saying earlier, is I met Mr. Campbell through somebody out of Atlanta who I met through a lawyer, Malawi Davis. The Davis law firm, Davis and Johnson, they just opened here in Savannah. They got a law firm in Atlanta. And he knows the other brother who introduced me to Mr. Campbell. He said, man, I can't make it because he got a show at the exact same time as this show. So he said, matter of fact, he sent me an invitation to come to that show. But he said, I got a brother there in Savannah that just came home that's doing great things. And that's how I hooked up with him through a lawyer, that's that's a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. And so it's connecting the dots there.
Yes.
We all are trying to get everybody to understand what it takes to stay out of prison and what it takes to not even go to prison. Not just the recidivism, but like we're talking about the school to prison pipeline. We need to stop it there also. And if we can get these organizations to operate in one silo instead of everybody trying to do their own thing, which is good. Everybody needs to do something so they can keep the rate low. But if we can all operate off the same accord, like you're saying, be under one network where you can know and give help, because somebody might have additional help when you extend. So that's where the help comes in. So this program is great. If we could hook up with the brothers in Atlanta, Savannah, up there in Wilson, North Carolina, Charlotte. We form that network and we put everything together. And, we look for those funds for 501(c) that we can do the things that needs to be done to help everybody.
That's one of the things that I'm doing to start that 501(c)(3). But to piggyback off of what Julius Campbell, what you said earlier about reaching out to those reentry programs and stuff, I did that when I came home from prison, and like you said, a lot of them was shut down. A lot of them wasn't operating anymore due to lack of funds, and and the ones that were operating, they wasn't able to help because of minimal funding. You know what I mean? So this right here, what we putting together, like you said, a network of individuals, a network of organizations like ourselves, like what we have, will be a great help to those people that's coming home that need the resources that can help them, beat down this recidivism, man. So it's a good thing that what we're doing. And like I said earlier, I appreciate you coming on to give all of the information that you have for us to receive, man, and we can share it with others. Julius Campbell, if you don't mind, share this, man, with all of your friends and family. Share this show. Share it. Let everybody know to tune in and to keep tuning in to all the shows and the ones that that are incarcerated, that's on their way home, and the ones that's currently transitioning back into society. Let them know about the show so we can have them on board to tell their story.
Yes, sir, for sure. I would definitely do that because I like what Mr. Julius said. He spoke earlier about the school to prison pipeline, and there people think that reentry begins after you get out of prison, but that is not the case. Reentry starts even before you go into the prison system. I was speaking with, well, actually, I just partnered with a young lady by the name of Angela Brantley, TIP organization. And what she does is she's partnered with the juvenile justice system, and she is mentoring young men and women in hopes of keeping them from jail and prison. And so we need mentors. Any men or women that are out there that say, listen, something is wrong, I want to help. Well, this is your opportunity. If I may give this clarion cry, stop complaining and be a part of the solution. And the solution is people, investing in the lives of people, mentoring, chaplaincy, counseling. I mean, whatever it is that you feel that you can do, just contact these organizations and ask them, listen, I'm here. What can I do? And once you let a person know that you are willing, I guarantee you, you won't be turned away. Definitely, if you come to OAA Savannah, we need some help. So therefore, from the beginning, mentoring, going into the jail system, coming out of the prison system, we can help each other and we can curb recidivism.
So where's OAA in Savannah, the address and what nights y'all meet? Tell them all that again so everybody can know. And anybody want to help, give them the website, give them the email, the phone number, whatever you want to give them that they'll need to help out.
Okay, well, number one, OAA Savannah is Offender Alumni Association Savannah. We meet on every other Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 8011 Waters Avenue. We're actually, right now, we're in a building, so we are careful and cautious of COVID. So we're in a large social hall. Deliverance Prayer Tower has been a blessing to us and allowed us to use their social hall. So we are grateful for their leaders. That's 8011 Waters Avenue, right behind South University, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every other Wednesday. And then if you want to reach out to myself, my email address is Julius T as in today, Campbell at outlook.com. Julius T as in today, CAMPBELL at outlook.com. And when you could contact me, and I would definitely also be able to put in, send you an invite to that Reentry United conference that we're having April the 24th. And also April the 10th, we are having a Reentry United Returning Citizens reunion. So all those things will be, as a matter of fact, it will be on my Facebook. So you can actually go to my Facebook page, Julius Campbell, Brother Joy, and you will see those links as well. And we invite you. And just like what Mr. Hall did, I love with the connection. See, you met a lawyer, and that lawyer told you about an individual, and the individual told you about me. Well, look what we're doing now. I'm learning about AB and what he's doing in Carolina, and AB will be able to share, and I can do the same thing. That is holding hands, networking, so that we can help one another. You may not know what you can do, but you will never do anything unless you ask.
Yes, exactly.
That's correct. That's correct. You're a wise man, and I tell a lot of people, when you get out of prison after doing so much time, if you use that time wisely, there's no education in any university in the country can give you the education that you can give yourself because you have time to study. You don't have time to complain. All you have time to do is study. You want to learn. You want to put this in your head so that you can be a better person when you get home. So you have a PhD in what you're doing, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes,
like
sir.
the person, what was the gentleman that made the question a few minutes ago about some of the things that you can do for starting a business and all of that?
Jackson?
That's exactly what I did. I always tell this story that I had a job in the feds working landscape, and I used to be out there saying, man, when I come home, I ain't never getting into that landscaping business because the way I was cutting grass and all of that, but I have my own landscaping business.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So hey look, so one thing, never say never. Never say what you're never gonna do, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah,
been
because it's lucrative. It's lucrative.
exactly,
Very lucrative.
exactly. And I love my job. I love what I do every day. You know what I mean? So it's a good paying job. I got several contracts that that I do, and hey, that came from me learning the skill in prison. You know what I'm saying? So I never tell a person, man, not to get out here and do no landscaping gig. I would never do that, you know.
Yeah, that money is good. My brother owns a landscaping company. My next door neighbor owns a landscaping company. Hey, I'm telling you, it is a lucrative business if you got all the equipment doing and know what you're doing. It's a lucrative business.
My brother also has a staffing agency, and I'm connected with a couple of staffing agencies. So, again, what we try to do is when men and women are in need of employment, we definitely help them to get some employment. These are entry level jobs, but what we need when we first come home is a foot in the door, and so therefore, A1 Staffing is one of the staffing agencies. That's what my brother he owns, and we just want to help men and women to get the best help that they can. And again, I'll say it to those who are listening. We may have started out wrong, but we desire to finish strong. And that's what I'm doing, finishing strong.
Yes, sir.
Julius, tell everybody what you always say about the debt to society.
Debt is no longer what,
But your God,
I caught you. I
once
caught you.
paid, debt is no longer a debt.
Exactly.
Once you
Exactly.
pay it, you don't own no more. So if you
Exactly.
did something and you went to prison, that is what they charge you. You have paid your debt. Now it's time to move on with your life. You can't let nobody hold you back because what God has for you is for you. You just got to be obedient to say, I want it. You can't say I don't want it and throw it away because he might not give it to you again. He might give it to somebody else. So take what you have, the fruit of your labor, and make it work. That's all you can do. Brother Brett said a skill is something no one can take from you. That's right.
Exactly. Right.
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Julius Campbell. Any closing remarks you wanna tell the viewing people and listening people, anybody that's tuning in or might look at the show on a later date? Any
yes,
closing remarks?
yes. But first, to you two gentlemen, I appreciate this opportunity, this platform, if you will, for giving me another chance to dialogue. And hopefully, in dialoguing, we will cause people to come together and hold hands. To those that are listening, I'm asking you, ask where you can fit in, whether it's a faith-based organization, a charitable-based organization, reentry, a job, whatever you can do, offer that because people investing in the lives of people will change. Not another prison, not another program, but people stretching out their hands to other people. Thank you for this opportunity.
We appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yes, sir. We're going to have you back on because we want to play that video so people can see it. It's a 13-minute video. If you want to see the video, just go to YouTube. It's The People versus Recidivism. The People
Correct.
versus Recidivism with Julius T. Campbell. It was done a couple of months ago.
Yes,
A
sir.
couple of months ago. You'll see it because you'll see him on it. And The People versus Recidivism is very good video, 13 minutes long. Go out there and look at it. Share it with somebody. We're going to play it here in a couple of weeks. I got it on my phone. I just couldn't put it in my files so I can play it. But I promise you, it will be in there after a while. As soon as I can get some of that technical help that I don't know anything about, they'll put it in there, and then we'll play it. We'll have you back on. Me and AB want to have a conversation, and then we'll make sure that we get you back on because you're doing some great things into the same ream and thought that AB and I have. You know, we can put all these things together. Incarceration to incorporation is something you coming from prison, and we making sure you don't go back because now you own the business. Who the hell want to go back if they own the business? You know what I'm saying? You got your own legitimate business. And you know what the no recidivism is the platform that you're on. That helps in all aspects, and the mentoring the kids and everything. We put all these things together, and we can bring down our poverty rate. We can bring down our crime rate, and
Yes.
people can be productive citizens in this country. You know.
Right. Thank you,
Hey,
guys.
again, I appreciate you coming on, Julius. Appreciate you. Is very knowledgeable of the incarceration, recidivism. Very knowledgeable. Like I said, I love watching the video, and I'm gonna watch it again after this is over with.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, very informative.
Yeah, I'm gonna let everybody else. A lot of people, especially on the group page, Julius, let everybody up there know on that page, man, to go watch the video.
Yeah, you're right.
And to share the video, let everybody know what's going on with incarceration and all of that. So, hey, I appreciate brothers, man, for coming on. This is another segment of Incarceration to Incorporation. Um, we'll be back here next Friday, same time from 6 to 7. Julius, you have any closing remarks before we close this thing out?
We'll
Just
see you
thank
next
you to
Friday.
everybody.
Oh,
Yes.
that Julius. Forgot it's
Oh.
two Juliuses.
Oh, I'm sorry. Julius Hall, my co-host.
Okay.
All I would say is we'll see you next Friday and watch tomorrow for the Watchdogs at 12 noon. 7 days a week, we have shows on all things relevant media platform. 7 days a week, you can catch a show. It's information that we're giving to the public. Okay?
All right. I'll see y'all back here next Friday from 6 to 7.
All right, Mr. Campbell, we'll get with you.
Good night, gentlemen. Good night, everyone.
All right.